Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Hey, still trying to have some music though. I'm on the road. Good morning. You're listening to Java with Jimmy. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is definitely going to be a quick shot. It is Thankful Thursdays. I'm thankful for all of you. I'm thankful for those that tuned in yesterday for the Waterfront Coalition, as well as some commentary that I shared in the afternoon in response and actively while the mayor's press conference was going on around youth gun violence prevention. And so I'll get into that in a few minutes, but go ahead and hit share real quick and invite others to be a part of the Java Cafe this morning. Hit that share button. Also make sure that you've liked and followed the Java with Jimmy page. I realize often sometimes I'll get a notification and people that I see in here once in a while, it'll say, oh, such and such liked Java with Jimmy. I'm like, wait, what? So anyway, make sure you do that. Go ahead and hit the share button because this is a conversation that we really need to have about safety. It's not just the summer. We've been saying for years, and I mean, come on, we know that the community should be safe 24/7 as much as possible. But we're going to need to speak up as a community around some things that a lot of us have been saying for years and just figure out a different way to convey the message. I'm not adding anybody. I'm just trying to hold accountable those that are in positions of power that presented, as often electeds and candidates do, that they care and are going to do things and be radical when it comes to issues that cause them to engage people during the campaign when they're a candidate. And I know some of y'all that are smart have been hearing an underlying message there. And I talked a lot about it yesterday. So if you didn't see yesterday, go back and check it out. Yesterday afternoon, you all know violence and trauma and whatnot is a space of passion for me to be, of course, first preventative, intervene, and then in the worst case scenario, responding to issues of trauma. And I know that because that was the subject yesterday, I had a little different type of strong brew yesterday, and I'm sitting with it, fine with it, because it wouldn't necessarily be the case if there was the ongoing communication with the intent to contribute and enhance. So anyway, I didn't went too far already. Let me go in the cafe and say good morning to folks. And I definitely should have cleaned my glasses this morning. Or could just be the old eyes. Let's go in and see who's in this morning and say good morning. Mama Java is in the room. Good morning, Ma. Good to see you in the room. Sharon, so Sharon, the way it's set up now, we can see your profile picture. There goes that picture of Hot Mama Sharon. We're going to call you Hot Mama Cha-Cha. Auntie Java, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Pastor Marion, good to see you in the room. Thankful Thursday. Don't forget with all, share some thankfulness in there as well. Lasagna, good morning. Good to see you on in the room. Hopefully everything is going well and you are at peace and working on that plan. Heidi, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Thanks for the communication and exchange yesterday. Or the day before, reference to Bishop Miranda. That service is actually going to be streamed on Friday. Pastor Sam Acevedo, If you all know Lion of Judah, Leon de Judah, Pastor Sam Acevedo is just a wonderful person. And I had texted him when I heard about Bishop Miranda, and I got a 3-paragraph text last night. And he shared something with me that, I've probably talked to Bishop Miranda, like talked to one-on-one 5 times in my lifetime. And what Pastor Acevedo shared about, he considered me as family and prayed for me often. I know some of that is just generally true, but it was just interesting. I got it last night, and I've always had an affection for Bishop Miranda because he was this silent, wise storm that just was amazing. And so, Heidi, that service will be streamed tomorrow. If I get the link, I'll text them back and see if I can get the link, but I'm sure it's going to be on Facebook or if you go to their website. Isaiah, what's up, brother? Title T DJs in the room. Good to see you. Daryl from Tennessee. Good morning, sir. Good to see you in the room. Miss T, good to see you. And look at the double E's. Those are the twins, Ethan and Ella. Who she often calls Hansel and Gretel, which I tell her she ain't right. But the double E's are there on the screen this morning. Good to see them. All right, I think I covered everybody this morning. Naraki, beautiful. Good morning. Good to see you in the room. So, hold on. The maestro, my brother, Mark Copeland, is in the room. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you in the room. Good to see you. Good to see you. I know we may wind up seeing you soon. Sister Debbie is in the room. Good morning. Good to see you. Good morning, Quincy. Good to see you in the room, brother. Shady. No, I'm messing. I got the email and I saw the flyer. But don't forget June 1st, everybody, while Quincy is, I'm just all over the place this morning. While Quincy is in the room, don't forget June 1st. I've been asked to co-MC with Tisha Purdy, who will MC with me the Pride kickoff that is taking place. That's, I think, on Wednesday, June 1st. Where's the calendar? Quincy, you should put the day of the week on the flyer so old heads like me. Wednesday, June 1st. Wednesday, June 1st at City Hall Plaza at 5 p.m. We're going to light up City Hall with all the colors. There are going to be performances, resources. Boston Association for Lesbian and Gay Youth will be there with gift cards for young people. Saturday Church is a part of it, and others. And so that's kicking off next Wednesday. Now, these are supposed to be available on Wednesday. And Props is, I got to make a phone call today. Props has been getting on me. They're a little delayed with production. So I'm telling them today that these need to be in the mail by Thursday because I don't want to deal with the Memorial Day rush. And their original date was the 29th, which is Sunday that we're supposed to have them. So while Quincy was on, just wanted to mention that. Let's go back to the comments and make sure I got everybody. And then very quickly, I'm going to go into Quincy. I love you, brother. Anyway, again, a quick shot. We're going to be off of here in about 5 to 7 minutes. And so yesterday, I shared my experience. I shared lessons learned about, trying to engage with trying to continue to engage with the municipality. And let me be very clear. I was, what's today, Thursday? A week ago, I was with the mayor. We're clowning in the meeting, looking, laughing, hugged and whatnot. Her and I, as Michelle Wu, are fine, as far as I know. And as I said before, she said right here on this platform, and I got to go back and get the footage and find it and just have it to hold her accountable. And while it is her, it is also, well, she can only be held accountable for all that she's aware of. And it being the mayor and not getting all the minute details that others may have and how that could possibly be presented with an agenda from said presenter. So you got to give, again, ignorance is bliss and awareness is stressful because I'm a little old and not an expert, but I'm certainly not a novice. And so it's the nature of the beast when it comes to things like gatekeepers. It's the nature of the beast to give validity to naivete. It's the nature of the beast that not newbies feel that those that have been there, you've been there, and you ain't got anything done, so now we're coming in. It's the nature of the beast that said beasts need to be careful, because if people feel ageism and things like that, that may not pan out too well for any entity. And then you also have to understand that those at City Hall, those that are still there that came in, some spill over from Menino, then you got some that came in with Walsh and went to Janey and now Wu, and there was the whole elections and all that. You got to take that into consideration when you bring in new innovative ideas. Take that. I talked to somebody last night, and listen, I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. By the fact that I'm on social media talking, am I media? Do I try to keep the community aware of things? Yes, I do. I'm going somewhere with this. I don't speak on things that I don't have context to, and then that often people that reach out and call don't know that other people called. And there are central messages in the conversation where you can sit and extract, okay, well, 4 people said that differently, but it's the same thing. They're saying that. And then 2 days later, another person may call and say 3 of the 4 things that came out of the conversation with the other 5. So I'm saying all of that to say that we have to consider the fact that the administration's on a learning curve. There are people in there that are not only new to municipal government, but there are people in there in some very influential positions that may not have may have a 1-page resume. Let's frame it like that. And if you are, and listen, y'all know I'm a fan of youth development, young people, new, all of that. But in a time in a world pandemic, in a space of where we're looking at race reckoning, with the economy the way that it is, in this particular case with mass incasts, and with violence, let's make I statements. If I was in the position of mayor, and I guess this will put me into what I would propose to you all that I've been trying to present and ask questions about a comprehensive public safety, not just for the summer plan, but we know what comes on with the summer. So a few general things, and don't y'all start. But if I was mayor, I would, 1, recognize, know, and be full aware of the fact that I don't know everything. 2, I would do my best to have people around me that are experienced, that are professional, and that are truth tellers. I'm going to say something. I love props. Has helped, is a friend, but is a truth teller. And do I often get mad and want to cuss and know what to say to get him off my phone? Yes. But we need those people around us that, even in our good intention, to say, hey, well intended, but on the back end, what is the impact in a good way? And what is the potential impact in a negative way? And I got 1 minute because I'm not staying on here all day. And so I would have those type of people around me. When it comes to the issues of violence prevention, and just because time is short, and to Heidi's point, change and managing change is difficult. So therefore, I would, in that circle around me, bring someone that has done and has experience with transition teams. We know that, administrations and things like that. There was a transition team of which I was supposed to. My hand was held in the parking lot of Jubilee Church. I want you on the transition team. And let me park there for a minute. When people get into higher positions, do they have to begin to look at the bigger picture and not be involved in every minute component of what they're leading? Absolutely, which lends to the fact that this other piece of having people around me, I would have a pit bull. And what I mean by that is, say what you wanna. If I say the name Michael J. Knievy in well-informed political circles, people know that when Thomas M. Menino said he wanted something done, Mike got it done, worried about how it got done after the fact. And in this managing change and change being difficult, you do need, come on, we're talking political and municipality. So again, not an expert, but certainly not a novice. And so you have truth tellers around you. You have an executor. People will that you know, if they say something in the meeting and others don't hear it, somebody is in there that says, oh, he or she wants this done. I need to pull these people together, send an email, send a text or whatever, and say, hey, not sure if you really read into what, in this case, the mayor said, but what are the steps in which you're going to get this done? And then if you don't hear anything, you follow up. And so it doesn't necessarily always be a pit bull, but an executor. The other piece is we also have to understand that there are people in mid-level and departmental positions and divisions that weren't with Wu. And so, and I was hearing this from the beginning, from things of sabotage and the transition. I heard it even, and let me go back. And as I said yesterday, I sat this coming Monday, 2 weeks ago, and had to realize this is systemic. The difference between the time when I went through this with Marty Walsh and the time I'm going through it now are a couple of things. One is there wasn't as much as of a past rapport and relationship with Walsh. With Wu, there is. Wu is also a female. And the most foundational thing that has to do with me, I've grown. So though I am, anxiously frustrated and upset and things like that, I'm not on here cussing and fussing and things like that. And so, it is systemic. And so getting to a little personal, when you, and I owned this yesterday, when you get an impression from a politician, and I still believe Michelle was the better choice between her and Anissa. When you get an impression from a politician that they're going to commit, and they've somewhat demonstrated a progressive, a radicalness in some spaces, and that now, let's be honest, even though Mass and Cass has become interesting again, the appointment of Shagun Idawu, the appointment of Frank Farrell, the Black Male Advancement Commission, the Green New Deal, and shout out to Reverend Mariama White Hammond, who is leading that, a Black woman who is leading that and is the chief climate, environment, EPA liaison, all that other stuff. Shout out to Reverend Mariama White Hammond, who is in that role. And so there have been some radical things done, and I'll bring it back to the violence prevention thing. Some of the frustration that led to this. No, Heidi, let's talk about that. And look who's in the room. Heidi, I'm going to go back to your question because Thaddeus said that. No, someone said that to me yesterday, asked me that yesterday. Talia, woman of God, long-standing, street credible, former street worker, former SOAR director. We salute you and celebrate you for the work and everything that you've done in this community prior to being in the city of Boston. And we hope and send strength and innovation your way in your new ventures and things. Y'all put some hand clapping and stuff in there for Talia Rivera, who she was on with the team about a year or so ago, if not more, when we were in this time of getting ready for the summer, and was very honest about the transition from street workers to SOAR, and has shepherded and led SOAR for almost what was it, 3 years, Talia? I was sitting in her office, I think, on her first day. And so, Talia, we love and we celebrate you. And I'm gonna save some of my commentary. So, to Heidi's point. So, are you in your feelings about her not doing what she promised, just asking for me? Yes. And not okay, let me explain this. On the foundation of the frustration isn't for personal gain. I've told y'all, they wanted me to, I was offered a job that was supposed to be, I said I wasn't coming in because I want to be able to still do this and, all of that. There was some conversation about supporting, Black-owned media, working, and they've done that. Michelle did it on the campaign. And the communications department asked for, like within the last 2 weeks, asked for my media rates to, promote city stuff on here. And so on the premise of what was said for the purpose of transition is the foundation of an administration where they're setting things up and they're putting things in. So wanted to have influence, not for no filthy lucre or gain. And yes, there's a little bit in my feelings around the fact that, how can I say this without being too, the rapport, the communication is there around, sometimes when she had spoken Spanish, I would text and say, oh my God, it just cracks me up because I know some of the racists, you have Asian women speaking Spanish. I know that they are just, their poor little brains are just going crazy. And so, there would be response to that. But when it came to, hey, just sharing that X, Y, and Z, a couple of ideas, suggestions, and Heidi, in all fairness, as I said earlier, the direct interaction with her I'll say it like this. When I've updated her, there's this look like, oh, and like perched lips, because and this is what I said before, not just about me and other things. A lot of people in leadership often will say and believe that those that are working with them, those that they are superior to or insubordinates, would carry out what express wishes were. So I just needed to respond to your question, Heidi, because it's not just you. I know a couple other people have asked that. Talia said 2.5 for whatever period. We celebrate you, sis. We really, really do. Lasagna is saying, I have to catch replay at work. Everyone have a great day on purpose. Have an awesome weekend. Be safe. Stay well. Love and blessings. Yes, Lasagna. We definitely miss you. There is still a perception that I am. Anyway, quick shot. So very quickly, if I was the mayor, in reference to my response to the summer safety plan from yesterday, is now, let me name what, I must have got an email. Let me name what I appreciated. And this, was it Thursday or Monday? This coming Monday was, I think, the 2 weeks ago. I did attend a meeting and I heard about these 20 community ambassadors, which are basically people. Now, yesterday I heard an application process, which led me to believe, let me speed up and say, if I was the mayor, I would just ensure that the Office of Public Safety, that is my direct arm for any and all things that have to do with violence. And let's just also park right here. Domestic violence, violence against trans women, other family type of violence, children. They did bring up, in reference to, and this is closely with the police, but the reporters asked the mayor yesterday about, God forbid, a horrific, larger shooting incident in the city. And so if I was the mayor, as that being my primary arm for violence, the Office of, well, not violence, it's the Office of Public Safety, period. I would, one, support, in all fairness to Dr. Falk, from internally and externally in the past, it has come to my attention that the level of support that Dr. Falk needed was not exhibited. And so we have to give some balance to that. So anyway, let me speed up because it's 9:30. That office would have my full support of budget, have research staff, have operations staff, and have an advisory committee that consists of a couple of domestic violence people, a couple of trans women, also those advocates for children abuse, those that move in the space of gun and youth and retaliatory violence, those that are asset-based and serving the community, and some sort of entity that was experienced in what we call wraparound comprehensive services. I would have that advisory committee that I would check in with at least quarterly. In addition to that, I would also do a assessment of any and every department / line item in the budget that has anything to do with public safety and violence prevention. I would look at the money. There's this. So, all right, just if I was mayor, I would comb that, cut off the fat. And what I mean is, where are there duplications of positions and services wherewith, away from city charter, I can get rid of, combine, and enhance, not wanting to decrease the working staff and lay people off, but let's figure out a way to find other. The city right now is having all type of job fairs. Where do you take that skill set and transcend it into someone? If the priority is for public safety, that being number one, and then of course, again, in combing the fat off, sometimes you might have to look at eliminating some positions. So you got to keep that in mind. I'm not in the office, and I'm already like 2 or 3, and Michelle is known for this. Right, wrong, indifferent. She's a brainiac. And you say one thing to her, and if you listen to her sometimes, she talks a lot, no disrespect, but because she just retains and brainiac. And so, again, trying to be balanced, I'm just sitting here talking on my computer in a hotel. And already there's 3 or 4 things in the back of my mind around what I'm proposing to you that I would do. So I would have that advisory committee. I would make the OPS office empowered and have resources, have an advisory committee. And on that advisory committee, actually, they wouldn't be on there. I'd have a kitchen cabinet that I'd have my own street cred relationship and be able to check in with dudes on the street that either, recently had some issues or whatever, because they have their ear to the ground of what's really going on and also what resources are really needed. So there would be a kitchen cabinet that would be more intimate, that I'd go out and talk to and go on the street, and they may reek of weed. And when I'm coming up, they may take their gun and throw it off in the field or something, whatever. You need that direct experience. I would, and again, the advisory committee with the domestic violence and trans and all child abuse advocates and whatnot. But I would keep a kitchen cabinet close to me, externally and internally. Internally, when you do that assessment of the budget and positions, if there are positions that I'm going to go. I'm supposed to be on a break. All I will say is that I love, support the mayor. And in that, I am hoping and believing that, and y'all know that I tell y'all all the time in the past when I used to go off, and I'm not going off. It's just anxious frustration due to what I've been saying, to what I call Black Boston Poly trauma. It's in a whole nother Zoom. And so the love and support is there. And also, as I've been saying, she said, hold her accountable. And that is, what I'm doing, what others, and the thing is, this isn't just a solo sentiment. I've said to the administration, is a lot of this conversation among what I call pundits and those that are really involved in Boston Poly. Yes, but a lot are involved out of passion and wanting to see policy change and things like that. And so the thing I've said also is, and it's actively happening right now, that eventually these conversations, observations, and would make me think that if I'm getting calls and I have concerns, that I'm the only one. So, someone, anyway, I'm going to get ready to get off of here. Heidi's point, remember, it's easy to be an armchair quarterback or Monday morning quarterback. Oh, absolutely. I just said that just me sitting here on my computer, I'm talking one thing and 3 to 4 things in my head, like, well, if you do that, this is going to happen. Imagine how she does it. She got all the information, hopefully all the accurate information of what's sometimes being passed up. Because come on, let's keep it real. No leader of any entity over 50 people can't be involved in every intricate detail, but they got to have 2 or 3 people that between the 2 or 3 of them, they know. It's just when it comes to municipal leadership, it is what it is. So that's it for me today, everyone. What did Mama Java say? Y'all not. So I am. I extended my stay. So Ma, when you don't hear from me tomorrow, what's today? When you don't hear from me today, because I always let my mother know when I'm back. I extended my stay, and so my mother says someone is in her ear. I love when my mother gets a little political. She said something the other day on Facebook. I was like, ooh. My thing is, it doesn't, and I say this with the most sincere heart, it don't have to be me. It's just someone that, and I'll keep it 100, because of the engagement and the intensity and density of our communication leading up until September and November, was there that, and I told y'all before, this election was the one where I had to be real with myself about my the warm and fuzziness that we get from candidates being an influence on decision making, and also past relationships, of which her, Kim, and Anissa I had, and Andrea. So anyway, it is what it is. And I hope I told a couple of people, I sent her a text and sent someone else. And I said, if and when you all get to a point again of recognized value, added value that is brought to the table, and may need something, if it's going to help the community, reach out. Hell yes, without question. But me allowing my brain to be taxed by things that I technically have no influence over, let's keep this real, not paid to consult, not paid to be an ear to report back and, hey, look out, I'm hearing this might be coming down the pike, which I've done. So anyway, the mayor will be with us on June. Here I am back at this calendar. I'm not at home, so I don't have one in front of me. I usually do better. Fourth Wednesday in June at 12 p.m., the mayor will be with us. And we'll talk about mass and caste violence. I'm probably going to take questions. I am going to take questions from the audience. So anyway, let me make some announcements, and I am getting off of here. Absolutely, Pastor Marion. There is, because of the developed rapport and longevity of familiarity, I'm being very specific, the longevity of familiarity and all that, especially when it comes to issues of violence, over the 8 years as an at-large city councilor, do you know how many times we've sat? And now you're in the position to, and one of the responses that I've got before, not just from her, and I witnessed it from the administration told me directly. Not only her, but some city councilors would say, hey, James, we're trying to get the information, but the city won't get it to us. A few months later, a city official sitting right, eyes for Jesus, sitting right to the left of me told me, James, you're requesting information we don't give city council. That was a problem. Anyway, and so absolutely, Pastor Marion, and to Ma's point, there's a lot happening right now, and Texas is a mess. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot happening right here locally. And I needed to make the point yesterday. And let me just say this in fairness. And, you know, I'm not adding or calling out or whatever. But some of our elected officials are going to be making statements, and as they should. I often say we can walk and chew gum at the same time. The acknowledgement of the horrific mass shootings that have happened lately, the ones that are national and known, and the ones that we're not getting full coverage on. There was a story that hit the media yesterday that there was almost another incident, I don't remember what city, where the police caught the boy that was on his way to do a school shooting with the AR-15, AK-47, a copy of an AR-15, and I think they had an AK-40. Again, let me be accurate. But should local politicians speak to any carnage or any tragedy and terrorism on a national level? Absolutely. But we also need to hear from you when you speaking up about these things that are happening locally in your district or in Boston. If it's not in District 4, if it's in Boston. If it's not in District 5, it's in Boston, especially if you're an at-large counselor. So some announcements, and I'm going to, as my mother said, am I resting or I'm not relaxing? I actually got a meeting I need to prepare for today. But this is a presentation to get some support for the platform, so I don't mind that. Also, let's just keep in mind, I'll go in order. Don't forget the Pride event that's kicking off on June 1st. Don't forget also on June 3rd, next Friday, is the Men's Mind, Body, and Spirit Summit with Dee Dee's Cry. I am hosting a panel there. Kurt Foston is doing a workshop that was on Monday. Don't forget the Love is Love t-shirt that I hope to have ready no later than next Wednesday. Messing with these printers and you know, with them too, we got to be fair. They said that due to the supply chain thing, they're running a little bit behind. Don't forget this t-shirt for Juneteenth is going to be available as well. And also remember that SWV is going to be here on June 11th. June 11th. There are at least, if I could, and I might try, I don't know how, but there are about six, well, at least 5 of them. There are about 5 events, 6 events that are major. And it's like, and a couple of them are around the same areas for traffic. It's June 11th is going to be a very interesting day in Boston. Speaking of June 11th and June 12th, as I mentioned to you before, well, at this point, I want to talk to the young lady first, but I mentioned to you that we were going to have a Sunday Java at the African American Meeting House on Joy Street. I mentioned to you that the young lady had a death in the family. Last time I talked to her, she was at the family member's house packing and just got word that another family member passed. And so I think got a little offended, but I was trying to get her off the phone because I just couldn't be aware of that. And we trying to rush and put a concert together. And so right now, I don't think June 12th is going to happen. And yeah, I think that is it. June 19th, yo. See, when I say yo, when I tell you, and Mike and Bourne, Mike Yoga Mike, I put him on the email. I've been in contact with him, trying to get this paperwork and stuff for the yoga at White Stadium. I mean, I was ready to fill out the paperwork almost 5 weeks ago, and you got to do it through a system. And then I was sent the wrong link, and then I had to get on the phone. And I actually had to stay on the phone with the dude while he was looking for the email with the proper link. And like, I had to literally sit on. I was like, hey, you know, can you just send it to me? No, can you just stay right here to make sure I get it? And so I had to register for the site. and supposed to get an email that says, hey, you're registered to go ahead and request the space. I sent a screenshot of my confirmation for registration and said, hey, can you, when is the email coming? Right now, the 19th is still in place. The yoga at White Stadium in the park, I will leave it to Mike and Bourne if and when they want to make a date that if we don't have that space approved or whatever, that they may want to just do something different. And don't forget, as we had on yesterday, June 23rd, I actually have June 23rd. I might get on this call. I actually, June 23rd is the Java with Jimmy on the waterfront at the ICA. And so that is going to start after work around 5 p.m. And I need all y'all there, all y'all to come out. Yes, the Mother's Board will have their reserved seating. MGH is going to have their little spot because they're coming deep. I heard like 12 so far from MGH. And yeah, that's it for me today. And this is a long month, so we won't have your Healthy Java again until June 7th, which is the week after next. And so if you kind of been looking for it, this is, first and third Tuesdays. And this month, I believe we have 5 Tuesdays. So, all right, that's it for me, everyone. Let me just go back and check a couple of comments. And okay. I got 2 laptops here, and I don't know which mouse. The ghost guns. Yep. That's a whole, again, I've been saying that a lot. That's a whole nother Zoom in itself. One of the things that I'm trying to get away to reset and do is to go back and really get ahead with content. And so I'm not rushing, and we get experts and we do Java after darks. And so my sensitive self ain't worried about talking about stuff at 9 o'clock. All right. Sister Leslie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tell someone about it and invite them to be a part and tag them and put a post up about it. I haven't really been in that marketing thing because it's just, I've merch. Yeah. But, all right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And as much as you all say the platform helps you, it helps me. Miss Leslie, this is the closest I get to the political realm. That might, don't touch the stove. That might not be a bad thing, and do it. And I know you do. But don't let this lens be the only lens in which you hear and view politics. There are a lot others that are more experienced. And I'll say it's not as close. This is personal for me. It is personal in the fact that my mother can attest. Ever since I was young, you talk about an activist and advocate. The word that they always prescribed to me, and Ma, you can attest, and she used to use it. He's so persistent. And I didn't want to listen to the adults. I remember the one time I wanted to do a show in the building that we lived in Heath Street. And Ma, I don't know if you remember, Maybell wanted to be the director of my show. And I fought and resisted. And I was going to we're not doing it because she was trying to be in charge. I think we did wind up doing it. Barbara came up and I think we did wind up doing that show. But this is just who I am. And I sit so comfortable at 50 years old in it. And acknowledging it's not perfected, but it's who I am. And for whatever reason, God's allowed me to be this way. And I'm not talking about bad stuff. And we use that this is just who I am. And to be negative and all that. I'm getting off of here. It's been too long. Auntie Connie. Oh, Miss Leslie, thank you. Y'all don't know what these little comments and stuff here every once in a while. Y'all don't know what they do. They are an encouragement because when the camera goes off, y'all don't preach. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Pastor Marion, there's a canyon for growth in this brother's life, not just room, a whole entire canyon for growth. Yes, my guys. But Stan, good morning, sir. You coming in? Y'all see Stan looking there like Pimp Cool Daddy. All right, brother. Hope you had a good birthday, man. And Miss Leslie, thank you. I'm getting off of here for real, y'all. I will not see. I might come on tomorrow. Since I don't know, we'll see. Naraki, listen, we love you and are proud of you for having an eat and voice for the people, having an ear and voice for the people. Yeah, I need to eat too. Oh, I haven't done it yet. but I got to get somewhere and just enjoy myself with some, just as Lasagna calls it, bougie food. And then, yeah. Anyway, all right. I will see you guys possibly tomorrow at 9 a.m. Love and appreciate you all. Have a awesome day.